Okay, here we go. We're going to call the public safety meeting to order. It's Tuesday, September 27th. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderwoman Davis,
Present.
Alderwoman Howard,
Present.
Alderwoman Tyus,
Present.
Alderwoman Spencer,
Present.
Alderwoman Boyd,
She's going to be late.
okay, Alderman Bosley,
Present.
Alderman Odenberg,
Present.
Alderman Narayan,
Here.
Alderwoman Clark Hubbard,
Here.
Alderman Page,
Present.
Chair Vaccaro.
Present. I think, did you skip the vice chairman?
No, I have 10 votes counted.
Okay, I guess I missed that. Let's go ahead and do the minutes and then we'll move on from there. So looking for approval of the minutes from the September 21st meeting. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes of September, what was it, 20th?
September 21st.
September 21st of the Public Safety Committee.
Second.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Davis,
Aye.
Alderwoman Howard,
Aye.
Alderwoman Tyus,
Aye.
Alderwoman Spencer,
Aye.
Alderwoman Boyd, Alderman Bosley,
Aye.
Alderman Odenberg,
Aye.
Alderman Narayan,
Aye.
Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, Alderman Page,
Aye.
Chair Vaccaro,
Aye.
10 aye votes.
Okay, so item number one, after talking to the Alderwoman and Vice Chairman of Public Safety, trash appropriately should be put under streets. She's agreed that she's going to hold a joint meeting, or at least a meeting in streets on the refuge problem. So we're going to move on from that unless someone, Vice Chair, if you have a comment. Otherwise, we talked about this, should have been in streets. And so I would just ask that we hold a meeting, and she's already agreed that she'll hold one very shortly. Can't be tomorrow because of the mayor's meeting. So unless anyone has a comment, or Vice Chair, if you have a comment, other than that, we'll move on.
I do. You will be very pleased when you see, I've been working on this. That's why I didn't want you to get in the middle of it. You will be very happy when you see what's going to go on. And then, you can lead it even, but I think everybody will be happy because I'm doing something that should have been done a long time ago, but I was really trying to give Room 200 enough room to do what they needed to do. But I now am doing what I need to do as the chair of streets. So you'll be happy. And I will talk to you about that off of camera, okay, if that's all right with you.
No, that's fine. So I look forward to, we'll have look forward to hearing about a public safety meeting on this. So if you're here over refuge, streets will be bringing that up. And that's actually the appropriate place. I was wrong. I saw this as a public safety issue. I also saw it as a health issue, but look forward to moving on. So we're going to go to item number 2. And so, we've had 6 people that have died over in the Justice Center, which really concerns me. And I think next week, I'm going to see if we can get the head of the jail and Dan Isom, Dr. Isom, to come in to speak as to what's going on. My other bigger concern, at least at the minute, is I'd like to get an update on where we're at with the Civilian Oversight Committee. And that's why I asked Reverend Gray to come in and speak. So what I think I'll do is let Reverend Gray speak and then open it up to the committee for questions, if everybody's fine with that. So I don't hear any objections to that. So Reverend Gray, kind of give us a rundown on what's going on, how this is laying out. And I apologize about my dog, so I'm gonna mute myself
Yes.
while you're talking.
That's perfectly all right. First of all, good morning, Mr. Chairperson and members of the committee. I think it's important for me to say in the outset that even though I serve as vice chair of the Detention Center Oversight Board, I cannot speak this morning on behalf of the board. I'm speaking based upon the information that I have. I am a member of the board, but I can't speak today on behalf of the board. And the reasoning is simple. I think that all of us on the phone know that there's been an injunction that has been issued by the court regarding the operation of both the Civilian Oversight Board and the Detention Facilities Oversight Board. It has been stated, the confusion that the injunction caused because many people who supported the development of the Detention Facilities Oversight Board did not see the injunction applying to us. We saw the injunction as applying to the COB and was advised that that's not the case, that the injunction, because of the infusion of both the Detention Facilities Oversight Board and the Civilian Oversight Board that was enjoined by Ordinance 71556. So both boards have been kind of fused into one entity as a result of that action. And as a result of that action, the injunction, as far as our understanding is concerned, that it applies to both. And this is public information. The Detention Facilities Oversight Board did meet once. We met to select our officers. That was made public. And we have been restricted on meeting since then because of this injunction. And so the board cannot meet, the board has not met, and the board will not meet until there's further clarification around as it relates to this injunction. Not as a board member, Mr. Chair, there has been communication as a non-board member to the Department of Public Safety requesting information regarding the deaths that have taken place, but the board has not been able to communicate anything officially in that regard because of the injunction.
Well, I appreciate it. And I just wanted basically you to come in and explain what's going on, because people do ask why we're not moving forward. And I figured in a public meeting, at least we can do that. And I appreciate the fact that you can't speak on that. I am going to ask that Dr. Isom and the head of the jail come in and speak on these things, because they're not covered under this. And 6 people dying in the jail, even if it's, I guess I'd like to know why. And even, it just concerns me. So.
And I
just
wish I
want-
could provide, I'm
No,
sorry,
no,
I
no,
wish I could provide more information,
No, I
but
don't want you to do anything that causes you, me, or this committee any problems. And, but I did want people to understand why we haven't been hearing anything. So we're gonna go down the list. And I think what I'll do is I'll let the vice chairman, I know she had looked like she wanted to say something. I think we'll start with the vice chairman and kind of just go from there. So Vice Chair, if you want to go ahead and actually even just kind of take over for a minute, I'm going to sit back and I'm just going to sit back and listen for a bit here.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The question I have, because I agreed with Reverend Gray regarding who the injunction was issued against. Were you and the other members served to say the injunction was also against you? Or was that a legal opinion from the city councilor? Where did you get the opinion that it also impacted your committee versus the other committee?
My understanding is that it's from that opinion is from the city law department.
Okay, the city councilor told you that it was there. Have you seen the injunction?
Yes, ma'am, I've read it.
Okay, and did it mention your committee or organization any place in there?
No, ma'am.
So I'm going to pull it and read it. I didn't read it because I had the same understanding as you, is that it was a problem with the citizen review because, and one of the things that they actually had contacted me, the Black police officers, was that we had a option to have somebody under 18 on one of the committees, on the youth committee. So I kind of understood where they were coming from that, but I in no way thought that it should be impacting you and the others that are on your committee. And so I am now going to pull it myself because sometimes I don't agree with the city councilor. And I've been right and she's been wrong each time I haven't agreed with her. So I don't really think that injunction applies to you all. Okay, so I'm going to read it, but nobody actually served you or anything. They just gave you an opinion is what I'm hearing.
That's the information that we have.
Interesting. Okay. I don't really have any other questions because I also don't want to get you in trouble, but
Thank you.
I doubt if that really applies to you. Okay. So that was not the conversation I had because several people called me who, after we had passed the citizens, the Citizens Review Committee said, called me with concerns that they had. And I said, why did you wait to the last moment? And we went on, but they never mentioned your group. So all of a sudden, everything is thrown together. That's like saying we have an injunction and it's against the Board of Aldermen and the St. Louis County Council. They're not the same thing, okay? And so now I want to read it and see where it says you, because I have a sneaking suspicion, and this is why I'm glad I'm a lawyer down here, because I read my own things, because people will tell you stuff that's just not true. And that includes our city councilors sometimes. So to me, if that was something that applied to you, they ought to have served you with that, given you the specific language. When I object to something, I'm going to underline it, highlight, and tell you where it says it in the rules, okay? So I will have a further conversation with you once I read it myself. I didn't read it because I didn't realize that they were saying that it applied to your group.
Thank you. And thank you, Madam Vice Chair, and we appreciate you and all that you do. And as I said, I can't speak on behalf of the board today, and it's our understanding that this is the reason why we're restricted. That's the understanding that we've been given. I do understand also that the city is trying to clarify, to get clarification for the two, so that if there is any gray area, that at least we know. And so I want to say this on record, that I appreciate the fact that this is being done so that we can do the work that this committee and the board of alderpersons have asked us to do. And that's all we want to do. But as I said, I'm restricted on what I can say, and I appreciate you, Alderwoman, not wanting to get me in any trouble.
Well, to me, if they had objections to you, then they would have brought it when you guys were first appointed. The objections didn't come until the next organization or committee was put together. And that's why I doubt that why would it then all of a sudden apply to you? So I just am doubtful about that. And the city council has been a corporate lawyer, which is a little different than being within the political realm. So I just want to read it for myself, because very famously, a few months ago, before the 28th Ward alderman got to be the alderman, the board of elections said we had to have elections some other one way. And I disagreed vehemently. And they ended up having to have the elections the way I told them. I've been doing this for a long time, and I don't see how the two coincide. So that's why I just want to read it myself, because I think that what the chairman said about 5 people or 6 people, or however many people, one person dying is too much. And we've been dealing with this for a long time now. So now that you're in place, then we expect you to be able to do your job and to not combine the two. As I said, I would be appalled if they decided that they put something, some kind of injunction against the county council and then said it also applies to the Board of Aldermen. Okay. So I don't think you're the same organization. So I will read it myself and then I will reach out to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, do you want me to turn it back over now?
Right, that'd be fine, I'm sure. We can go down the list if anyone does have any questions that could stay within what, we could talk about. Alderwoman Davis.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah,
I don't have any questions because I don't think that it's appropriate, but I do have a couple of comments.
sure.
And Madam Vice Chair, you are 99.5% always right, okay? And I'm looking forward to having a better understanding. And even the judge in this case, his last comment to the press is available, saying that the judge was going to look further, believing that it should be separated probably, as well as asking them to bring some very specific information. So I think you're going to be absolutely right. But I also wanted to make sure, Mr. Chair and Madam Vice Chair, that when we have this next meeting, bringing those folks before us, could we also ask the question about detainees being housed at our police central stations? Because I don't believe that is, first of all, the right thing to do, and it should never be put upon the people who are there doing the work of operating a patrol station to care for individuals 24/7, and I don't know how many days. That's not what they're there to do. And we have a very adequate facility that we could be using on Hall Street. So can we make sure that that question gets answered? And I'm putting that out there because I hope that it doesn't get lost. Thank you.
First off, I agree 100%. And I saw the memo to the police. And I think we should maybe even bring in the Chief Sachs to this. So Madam Clerk, if you can make sure to also add that we would like to speak to Chief of Police too, because what you're saying, Alderwoman Davis, is 100% correct. People are being held in what's only meant to hold somebody for a short time. No bathrooms, no showers, no meals, no, I can go down the list of no's,
Right.
because I've seen it across the street. And I mean, if anybody's ever been across the street and even looked at the people that are being held in what's supposed to just be a short period of time, they basically sleep on the floor. There's just two long benches on either side. It's not, it's not what it's meant to be. I just know that. And this, you're 100% right on that. So I'll move down the list, but Alderwoman Howard, any comments or?
Yes, I have a comment and a concern, as I concur with the woman from the 19th. And my other concern is, has anyone looked into, I mean, I know the big push was to shut down the not the Justice Center, but the Broadway, facility, or Hall Street facility. And I don't care what crime you've committed, you deserve humane treatment.
Right.
And I hear stories from constituents about relatives being stuck in a cell, stacked in there like cordwood, literally. To me, we need to look at some other alternatives. I just cannot abide by this. And, you know, if the war cry is to close the facility, I think maybe we need to revisit what's been spent up there to provide air conditioning and some more amenities and make people, make the place a little much more comfortable than it had been. And I think that we really need to expose what was done up there to make the place better versus stacking people over at the Justice Center in terrible, inhumane conditions. So I would like the chair of the director of the detention facilities to be in on this also, because I conditions need to be brought out and exposed. Now we've got people demonstrating against the Justice Center. So, I mean, we can't, it seems as though that this was ill thought out and ill prepared to house the people we have. And whether you're guilty or innocent, you deserve humane treatment. I just cannot abide by the mistreatment of human beings when we have other alternatives. Thank you very much. And that's all I have to say.
I agree, and I think, Madam Clerk, you know, we do want, and I think I also let clerk know we want that, because Alderwoman Howard, again, I went over there, and if you go over and see what's going on, it's sad. I mean, and there are some, I mean, everybody in there is not guilty of something. I mean, they're presumed innocent until proven guilty, but even if they are guilty, they've got to be better treatment. And that's why I was so insistent on this group.
They are still human beings.
Right. I'm there. I'll go on down, but Alderwoman Spencer, comments, questions?
I don't have any questions at this moment, just that I'm glad that we're looking into this, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And it needs to be. I don't know if Alderwoman Boyd has joined us. I know she was in another meeting and she told me she may not be able to. Alderman Bosley, Brandon Bosley.
I don't have any questions, but I'm definitely glad we're looking into it. I've heard some stories as well. I do know that a lot of individuals are crammed into one place that are from different parts of the city, and that does create a very dangerous place for inmates to be at. There was some sort of separation when we did have the other jail open, and that is one of the complaints in the neighborhoods as well. So I would say this is a very, very good discussion to have, and I'm looking forward to us seeing something substantial happen out of it, so we can, take care of those individuals who we do have as inmates, because everybody's not in there for life, and they shouldn't be subject to being treated like they'll be there forever.
We took people out of a facility that they were able to go outside, go into a full gym, and put them in somewhere, because everybody's, we got to close the workhouse. So let's put them somewhere where they're going to be locked down 23 hours a day and only out 1 hour. How do you think that was anyway, I'm sorry. I'll get off on a tangent, but I was on the advisory committee that was put together along with Reverend Gray. And you would think that myself and Reverend Gray would be on whole opposite sides of the world on a lot of issues, but there's some issues we agree on and we become friends over. This being one, we just agree that you can't treat people terribly like that. I mean, if you want to lose sleep a bunch of nights, go look over there. Go look at the people that are being held there, that they're not going to put into the jail. They don't put them in because they don't want to put them in there. They're being held in what should have only been for a very short time, where other municipalities aren't picking them up. So anyway, it's just not right.
Right, it's definitely an
Thank-
issue.
Thank you, Alderman.
Thank you.
Alderman Oldenburg. He might have jumped off. I'm gonna back up to Alderwoman.
Nope, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I have no questions though. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I'm gonna back up one. I saw Alderwoman Boyd joined us. Alderwoman Boyd. So what we're working on or talking about, the oversight committee can't speak on anything. We're just talking about as a committee, you know, the jail facility. I'm thinking maybe a group of us should go back over there. I know we're not held by anything. I think we should take a group of us and go over there. And you know, I think we need to look at this again. It's just a mess. But Alderman Boyd, do you have any comments about any of this, or have you been able to?
I apologize. I'm just getting on.
And-
So my understanding is we're discussing the Justice Center.
Yeah, just, you know, the oversight committee is under, I believe, under an injunction. So they can't really speak on anything to do with that. So we're just talking about our thoughts on the facility as a whole. And one of the things was brought up, which I know you're aware of, that the police sent a memo out saying, don't bring anybody else. We're overcrowded. And I know that memo might be over by now, but they were just telling them, bring people to North Patrol and keep them in your holding cells, which is probably even worse than I don't know, and that might have changed by now. We're gonna bring a lot of people in next week and work through this.
It's worse because North Patrol has less police, higher crime. And so who's gonna be the guard who's gonna be the keepers of the prisoners?
Yeah, you got me. I guess they'll take more police off the street. We got too many police on the street now, according to some people. So maybe we can just put them all there and watch the, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say.
No
that.
comments. Sometimes it's best just don't say anything. Isn't that right, Alderwoman Tyus?
I'm just trying to be good. So if you don't really have anything, I'm gonna move on to, do you have anything?
No,
Okay.
I
I'm gonna
don't
move
have
on.
anything. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Brett Narayan. Any comments or questions?
No questions or comments. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Alderwoman Shameen Clark Hubbard.
No comments, thank you.
Okay, and Alderman Page. Are you with us, Alderman Page? He was here at the
Yes, thank you,
beginning.
Mr. Chair. I sincerely appreciate this discussion, even though it's under a gag order or perceived gag order. I respect the Reverend's position, but I appreciate the updates in this discussion. Thank you so much.
And we're not under a gag order. And we have every right to take a group of us and go over and look at this. And if anybody wants to do that, just let me know who wants to be on that group. And we'll go over it, and nothing stops us from looking and you know, and all of this.
Mr. Chair, I will volunteer to be the first person to join that group.
I will set it up for next week. I've been having some stomach issues, so I would hope to be there though. Let me see that. I don't think I'm missing anyone. Does anyone else have any comments or questions? Oh, yes, Vice Chair Caius, yes.
I would just like to give a piece of advice that can be taken or not taken. When I first ran for office, I promised everybody I was going to concrete the alleys. When I got to the Board of Aldermen, I found out the fact at that point, we only got $79,000 a year for each ward. So you could not concrete all the alleys. I had to go back out and tell the people that there are some things you don't know until you get into office. And once you get better facts, you should do better. I would advise the mayor, be she call it the workhouse or she call it the annex to the Justice Center, that she rethink her position about closing this facility, because we still own it. So you cannot completely close it. You still have to pay for it. And I was the chair of public safety when we built the Justice Center. And I know the reasons we built it and why we built it as a short-term facility, not a long-term facility. And I would tell her that the best way you could do as an elected official is come back out sometimes and tell the people, I have more information and therefore I'm going to make a better decision. And that would be my advice. You don't have to listen, but the public hears that much better than if you keep trying to push something that does not work. Renaming it the annex did not, everybody knows the workhouse is still open. Sending people out to other parts of Missouri is not a good thing to do. As a former practicing attorney, that's why we were glad that we had the second facility, because we no longer had to have mothers and cousins and people go out to Potosi or wherever it was to try to visit their loved ones. This was a decision that was ill-advised. I never was a big supporter of closing the workhouse. I'm most definitely not a supporter when we see the things that have gone on. No one could have predicted the pandemic, but it did happen. And so I would really advise the mayor to sit down with her advisors and all those people who want to have a victory. A victory is very short-lived and not really a victory if it is not in the best interest of the community. And this closing of the workhouse is not in the best interests of the community, and it needs to be rethought. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And anyone else for the good of the organization? If that,
Mr. Chair,
yes.
I'm sorry, I just wanted, before you close it off, I want to say, as the former chair of the detention center task force that you alluded to, and you and I served together, and you're absolutely right. There were many things that we agreed on coming out of it, and the creation of the oversight board was in the top 10 things that we agreed on. I want to thank you publicly, and I want to thank the mayor, both of you, for working together to make this happen. The both of you together showed a spirit of cooperation, and we've got this done. And it is a testimony to both of you. And it is my belief, and as I said, I'm not speaking on behalf of the board, but as the former chair of the task force, it is my belief that the two of you, in doing so, want to see this oversight committee up and running, that both of you want to see that, and you want to do it within the confines of the law. And so thank you very much for the work that both of you have been doing in this regard. And I definitely appreciate everything that has been said by this committee, because I think that even though the oversight committee may be restricted at this point, as you have said, and Alderwoman Tyus and others, it does not restrict your committee from doing certain things. And so I just want to thank you very much. And I appreciate an opportunity to be here with you this morning. And I'm very sorry that I could not participate as I wanted to participate, but I am bound by the injunction, as far as I know.
And I understand, and I do appreciate the mayor and every person on this committee and every alderman. I think this passed with 100% voting for it, and the hard work that this committee put in. So I don't want to leave them out. Just having said that, I think unless someone else has something, then we'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that. All in favor? All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, we'll
Aye.
see you all next week. Thank you.